Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all well and having a really good Christmas break so far. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my Project Pan 2021 finale. I'm going to update you on my progress over the last 3 months, and I'm really pleased. I've got 6 empties and I've also hit pan on a powder product, which I'm thrilled about. So grab yourself a drink, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into the video. The first empty I've got to show you is this fragrance from Jo Malone, and it's in the scent Black Cedar Wood and Juniper. This smells absolutely divine and it's one of my favourite fragrances, but I'm not sure if she's discontinued this now. If she has, I'm really disappointed, but I have enjoyed using it over the last few months. I think I mentioned in my last update that I'd gotten out of the habit of wearing fragrance so much. It was something that I used to spritz on before I left the house, but because I've been working from home, I just haven't been reaching for my fragrance as much as I should have done. But really enjoyed using this, and you know, I like to smell nice, and I'm glad that I've gotten back into the habit of using my perfumes. Another empty is this Nars translucent light reflecting loose setting powder in the shade Crystal, and I've really enjoyed wearing this. It's a lovely powder, it's very finely milled and it just sits beautifully on the skin. I will definitely repurchase this at some point in the future, but at the moment I've got quite a few loose powders in my makeup collection. I think I have about 8, and that's quite a lot considering it can take me about a year to use one of them up. So for the moment I'm going to shop my stash, try and pan another powder this year, and that will be included in my 2022 Project Pan. But if I show you the back, you can see there is a teeny tiny bit left in the bottom, but I couldn't get the top off this, and to be quite honest, I'm not risking losing one of my nails or breaking them over a teeny tiny bit of powder. But so pleased to have panned this during the year and to have reduced my powders by 1. Next up is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Highlighter in the shade Moonstone, and this is a really gorgeous highlight. I think the shade really does complement my fair complexion, and I've very much enjoyed using it over the last 12 months. I keep thinking every day that I'm going to see pan on this product, but it just hasn't happened. I've used this 19 times since the last update, but probably well over 100 times since I've had it. You can see there is a really big dip in the powder here, but sadly no pan. I'm not sure that I want to keep this in a project pan next year. Maybe I'm going to move it to a usage project instead, just because I've used it so much and I've got other highlighters in my collection that I want to give some attention to. Next up is the Charlotte Tilbury Light Wonder Foundation, and mine's in the shade 2. I've really enjoyed using this over the last few months, and I've reached for it a total of 17 times, which I think is pretty good going. You can see the progress that I've made on the side of the bottle there since the last update. But this is a light to medium coverage foundation, and something that I would never have reached for previously. I would say that I was very much a full coverage foundation girl, but I really like the formula of this. I think it gives the skin a really natural, youthful looking appearance, and I'm definitely going to continue using it. I'm probably going to rotate it out the project for now and maybe bring it back over the summer, because I find I really enjoy this formula, especially over the warmer months. This is the Huda Beauty Tantour, and mine's in the shade Fair, and I've really enjoyed using it over the last few months. It's become a favourite in my makeup collection. When you look at it, it does look quite frightening in the pan. It looks quite dark, but actually the tone of this is beautiful and it blends out so easily on the skin. I think last time I had managed to hit pan, but if I compare it to the last update, you'll see that I have managed to expand the pan a lot. I think that I've used it about 17 times since my last update, but really love this, and I think that I'll include it in my 2022 Project Pan. Next up is my Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Amber Gold, and unfortunately I've not reached for this one much. I think I've used it about 3 times since my last update, which is not a lot at all, but it has been in my project since the start of the year, and I am quite far down the pot now, so at least it's got some good use this year. I think the reason that I've not reached for it is because there's been so many eyeshadow palette releases, especially for the Christmas period, and I've bought a few to review review on my channel and I've just wanted to play with them. So for that reason, this has not got as much love as it maybe deserved to get. It is a great one and done eyeshadow though. I love to throw it on the lid, put on some mascara, and you've got a finished eye look in a couple of minutes. They're really great eyeshadows to have in your collection. This is the MAC Mineralized Blush in the shade Warm Soul, and it is a really beautiful blusher. It just goes with any type of makeup look. I have used it 16 times since the last update, but there's just no pan in sight, unfortunately. I think I was a bit over enthusiastic at the start of the year when I chose this for my project pan, and I don't think I really appreciated how long it takes to pan a blush, let alone a blush with a baked formula like this one. If I turn it to the side, you can see that is completely flat now. There's no dome at all, but there's still a lot of product in here. So I could probably be panning this for all of next year as well. I am getting a bit bored of it though, if I'm honest with you. I do have a lot of blushes in my collection, and I want to give attention to those as well. So although I've got a lot of use out of it and I've enjoyed using it this year, I think I am going to rotate this out before I start my 2022 project pan. Another product that I've used up is this Benefit Porefessional primer in the mini size. I've used it 16 times since the last update, but it wasn't a full product when I rotated it into the project, so it just goes to show how many uses you can get out of these smaller size products. It is a really nice primer, and I do have another one of these in my collection which I will hopefully use up this year. But I've got about 8 other primers, which is a lot for me really. I'm not a huge fan of primer, so next year I do want to focus on reducing my primer collection by at least 2. But glad to have this one out of my collection now. Next up is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Pillow Talk, and I've used this 9 times since my last update. I would say though that I've reached for this more so in the last few weeks because I've just fancied a more pinky toned lip. But if I hold it up next to a full size lip cheat, you can definitely see progress has been made here. I'm not sure that I am going to keep this in my 2022 project pan. I might add this to a usage project for next year, but it is a really beautiful shade and I really love the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner formula. Next up is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lip and Cheek Glow in the shade Colour of Dreams, and unfortunately I've not made any progress on this. I haven't reached for it at all since the last update. I think for me it's because this product doesn't really know what it is. I've got lipsticks where I prefer the formula over this one, and I've also got cream blushes where I prefer the formula compared to this as well. So for that reason I've just not had a focus on using it at all. I am pleased that I have got some use out of it this year, but I think I'm ready to say bye to it. I'm not decluttering it, but I am going to take it out of my project because I've got some other blushes, both powder and cream, that I want to give some attention to next year. I'm really pleased with the progress that I made with the next item, and that is the Ambient Lighting Ghost palette. I think at the start of the year when I added this into the project, I didn't appreciate how long it would take to pan powder products, especially ones with baked formulas such as this one. So in my last update I did make the decision to focus purely on this powder here in the centre, and as you can see that is a fair sized pan, so I'm really pleased with that. I'm also, I think, pretty close to hitting pan on this shade here as well. I think that I will add this into my 2022 project because I would like to fully pan this shade and also hit pan on a couple of other powders in here as well. Next up is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, and mine's in the shade 2. Since my last update I've used this 32 times, but across the year I would say I've used it well over 100 now. I absolutely adore this product and I use it almost every time I do my makeup. I'm pretty sure that I'm almost finished. I can see a very small gap in the bottom here, but it is difficult to tell because the product does stick to the side of the glass, so I'm determined to fully use this product up. I'm going to add it into my 2022 project pan and hopefully I'll get done with this before the end of March. Another product that I've managed to fully use up is the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in the shade 3, and I'm really pleased that I've managed to use this one up, because around June time I was actually debating whether to take it out of the project altogether. I just didn't want to reach for it, and that's because the tip of the pencil is quite big. My personal preference is to have a very fine tip pencil, such as the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Cheat or the Benefit Precisely My Brow, but even though this pencil shape is not my favourite, the formula is really nice. But again, I'm glad that it's used up now. It hasn't gone to waste, but I won't be repurchasing this one. Next up is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and mine's in the shade Vanilla. I've used this 16 times since the last update, but I have got so much use out of it this year. I'm not sure whether you can see on camera, but there is a huge dip in there. I would say that I'm not too far away from hitting pan on this. But it's a beautiful product. It looks lovely under the eyes. It doesn't look heavy at all, but it's also great for covering blemishes, and I use it as an eye base as well. It sits really lovely underneath eyeshadow. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Luminous Bronze Light, and I would even go as far as to say this is one of my all-time favourite bronzers. It just looks so beautiful on the skin. Since the last update, I've used this 34 times, and I'm sure you'll be able to see that I've really expanded the pan. There's just a small amount of product around the edge, and that's really started to flatten now. So I'm pretty confident that I'd be able to fully pan this bronzer at some point. So for that reason, I do want to add this into my 2022 project pan. I would like to say that I've fully panned a bronzer, just because it's one of those products that's quite difficult. Another product that I've completely used up now is the MAC in Extreme Dimensions 3D Black Lash Mascara, and this is in the mini size. I have used this 16 times since the last update, but it wasn't new when I rotated it into the project. So again, it just goes to show how many uses you can get out of these smaller size products. I absolutely love this mascara. I wouldn't be without it in my collection, and I've already bought a new one. But I'm now thinking that when I purchase mascara in the future, I'll go for a smaller tube, because I'd rather use it and then have a fresh one more often, because sometimes the larger size ones can dry out on me. Next up is a Hot Lips 2 lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury, and this one's in the shade JK Magic. I've used it 22 times since the last update, and that's what I'm wearing on my lips today. It's an absolutely stunning nude and one of my favourites, but I would have hoped to have fully panned this across the whole year, but I just don't think I really appreciated how long it takes to fully use up a lipstick. Next up is another Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in the shade Bitch Perfect, which is also in the Kissing formula. It's a beautiful peachy nude, but unfortunately I just haven't reached for this over the last few months. I think it's a shade that I gravitate towards more so in the spring and summer months. But again, I didn't really appreciate how long it takes to fully use up a lipstick. So I think next year when I start looking at projects, I don't think I'll be adding lipsticks into the project pan. Lipsticks are by far my largest makeup category. I think I have about 110 in my collection currently, and I want to make sure that I rotate through my collection and get as much use out of them as possible. So for me, I think these are more suited to a usage project compared to, you know, focusing on one or two lipsticks for the whole year to try and pan them in full. In my last project pan update, I did add in 2 MAC mini lip glosses in the shades Spice and Very Go Lightly. I was doing so well with Very Go Lightly. I think I got about 3/4 of the way down the tube, and I was really confident that that was going to be completely panned before this video. But unfortunately I've lost it. I just don't know where it's gone. I'm hoping that it'll be in a handbag or maybe a coat pocket somewhere. Fingers crossed it'll turn up soon, but I haven't got it to show you for this video, unfortunately. With Spice, I didn't do so well, and it's a bit difficult to see the progress on the side of the lip gloss here. I've used this about 10 times, and I think I'm about sort of 1/4 of the way down, but I am glad that I've got some use out of these smaller products, because they did come with an advent calendar, so I am glad that I'm using my makeup that I have. And last but not least is the last product that I've managed to fully use up in this quarter, which is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in Vanilla. I had 2 of these in my collection. I had this one and also a backup. So I am really pleased to have got this one out of my collection. This is another one where the product does stick to the sides of the bottle, so it is hard to see the progress. But I have managed to shine my mobile phone torch down the tube and I can see that all of the product is gone. But I'm really happy with the progress that I've made. I think that I've used up about 3 concealers this year, which is really good going for me, and I do want to reduce that category in my makeup collection as well. As a lot of you know, 2021 was the first year that I've ever done a project pan, and I've enjoyed it so much from start to finish. I really love using my existing makeup collection, and because I love the makeup products that I have, that's why I bought them in the first place and why I choose to hang on to them and not declutter them. But there is something really satisfying about fully using up a product, and I've just absolutely loved it. One thing that has really surprised me is just how long some of the products take to use up. So things like lipsticks, bronzers, blushes, highlighters and bronzers, they just take ages, and that has made me take a step back and consider my own spending habits and how many I really need in my collection. I am keen to continue panning into 2022. I'm not going on a no buy, I would say I'm going on a low buy, because I still want to review new products as part of my YouTube channel. I know that that's what you guys enjoy watching, but I also really enjoy panning content. I'm planning on starting 3 new projects next year. A project pan which will focus on panning and using up makeup, a project 10 uses which will be really to rotate through my collection, so things that are hard to pan, as I've just mentioned, your lipsticks, blushes, bronzers, highlighters, etc. And I also want to do a using my eyeshadows project as well. But it is all about balance, and as I said, I still want to review new products. I've had my YouTube channel for about 18 months now, and I think I know what you guys like to see and enjoy watching. So you're still going to get new product releases and product reviews from brands like Charlotte Tilbury, Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, maybe some foundation reviews as well, mixed in with some panning content. So hopefully a broad range of different content next year, and I'm really looking forward to filming that for you. But before I go, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you all. My channel has grown so much over the last 12 months and I couldn't have done that without your support. So to all of you that have taken the time to watch my videos, hit the thumbs up button and drop me a comment. I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last 12 months, and I wish you and your families a very happy new year. So that's everything for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know by giving the video a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more videos from me, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because I'd love to have you back. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and again, Happy New Year.